Hello, church family. It's 2-Minute Tuesday. As I've mentioned the last few weeks, our 2-Minute Tuesdays this fall are focused on the subject of work and rest. Last week, we looked at Genesis 3 and the story of humanity's fall into sin. The very next story in the Bible is the story of Cain and Abel, which is the story of the first siblings, the first worship service, and the first murder. It's also really the first story about human vocation, and it illustrates the way in which sin turns work into warfare. Cain and Abel each have their own vocations. Cain is a farmer and Abel's a shepherd. One day they take the products of their labor and they offer them up to God. God accepts Abel's offering, but not Cain's. Cain reacts by getting depressed, getting angry, and eventually getting even. He treats Abel like he's competition. We read this story and we have questions, one of which is, what was wrong with Cain's offering? The Bible doesn't tell us, but the Bible goes on to show us what's wrong with Cain. His anger, his depression, his eventual violence betray a broken relationship with work. And it's a broken relationship that most of us share. Yesterday I was working to produce this video and I got stalled. Nothing was coming out right. And I got a little depressed. Got a little angry, got frustrated, so I took a break, and I went on Facebook because Facebook always makes us feel better. And what I noticed on Facebook is everybody seemed to be doing great. Everybody else seemed to be performing great. Everybody else seemed to be producing great material. And seeing how great they were all doing only made me feel that much worse about what I was doing, about my own work. Now, you've probably never had this experience, but for me it raised some questions like, why is it that when I have a bad day at work, I don't just feel bad about my work, I feel bad about myself? Why is it that when I see somebody else doing what I do except better, it makes my work feel worthless? Why is it that my work feels like a competition in which I'm fighting with other people to win something that's in short supply? Cain acts as though he's fighting for something that's in short supply. Cain works as though God's love is a commodity that he has to win, and work is the way to win it. When God rejects Cain's work, Cain acts as though God has rejected him. In other words, work is the way that Cain has measured his worth, and he assumes that's how God measures worth too. We do the same thing. We have so much wrapped up in our work because work is the way that we measure our worth. And we approach God as though God measures our worth according to our performance, our work. Now, because Cain's offering comes from a broken place in his heart, God rejects the offering. But God does not reject Cain. If you pay attention to the story, you see that God actually pursues Cain and pleads with him to come back. God's love is never in short supply. God's love is not something that you can win, but you don't have to because God gives it freely. At the end of the story, Abel's blood cries out to Cain. We have a brother whose blood cries out to us. Jesus' blood cries out to us from the cross, and this is what Jesus says. He says, God loves you not because of your work, but because of mine. God does not measure our worth according to our work. We do not have to work to prove our worth to God. You and I don't have to win God's love. It's already ours, fully and freely.